Dear David, Part 2. So I've already done one video about the supposedly true ghost story of Dear David. Recently, everyone in the video comments has been asking for an update on what's been going on with the Dear David saga since the last video. Now, if you haven't watched the first video, I highly recommend that you go watch it, so that you're caught up with the story. That video is linked in the description and also pinned in the comment below. If you don't want to do all of that, well, here's a quick synopsis of the story so far. New York City artist Adam Ellis began having nightmares about the ghost of a child with a misshapen head called Dear David. Soon, it seemed that the dreams might be a bit more than imagination, as strange things began to happen around Adam's apartment, and his cats basically began to freak out. When we ended the last video, Adam Ellis had just left for an early October trip to Japan. We pick up the story upon his return to his supposedly haunted apartment. As soon as Adam Ellis returned from his trip, strange things once again started happening around his apartment. It began with bizarre electrical disturbances. 2 bulbs in his hallway burned out within a span of days, and then the backlight on his TV began to randomly flash on and off, even with the power off. His cats once again began to gather around the front door at midnight, as if something were waiting on the other side, even though nothing was there. And finally, Adam himself once again started to experience bizarre, unnerving dreams. So Adam Ellis decided to have a friend come over and do a quote, spiritual cleansing of his apartment, a ritual believed by some to chase evil spirits out of a living space. After the cleansing, Adam said that things appeared to return to normal. No odd occurrences, and no strange dreams. But that didn't last long. One night, Adam Ellis went into the kitchen to grab a beer from the fridge and noticed both of his cats staring out his second-story window. When he looked out, he saw someone standing on the roof of the building next door, staring back at him. Adam pulled out his phone and snapped a quick picture, but by the time he had steadied his hand for a second pic, the person was gone. Adam was convinced that it was the ghost that had haunted him for months, Dear David. He tweeted, "I'm sure it was him. He's not going away. I don't know what to do." Soon after the incident, Adam had another dream about Dear David. One night he says he had a nightmare where he saw Dear David sitting in a chair near his bed. In the dream, Adam grabbed his phone from his bedside and started snapping pictures. He says David slowly limped over to his bedside until they were face to face. The boy mumbled incoherently as his eyes rolled back in his head, revealing only the whites. Dear David began crawling onto Adam's bed. Then suddenly Adam woke up in a panic. The ghost child was nowhere in sight. It had only been a dream, except Adam found the pictures that he thought he'd taken in a dream were actually on his phone. Despite some strange nightmares, nothing happened for another week. Then Adam began to hear strange noises coming from the attic above him. Odd thumps, multiple loud crashes, and even something that sounded like footsteps crossing his ceiling. After these sounds continued several nights, he decided to investigate. Now, the only entrance to the attic was a hatch in the hallway that was impossible to reach without a long ladder. So instead, Adam tried using a telescoping utility pole, planning to push the hatch door open to see if a squirrel or some other animal had somehow gotten into the attic. He filmed himself pushing open the hatch. As you can see in the video, something fell from the attic when Adam pushed open the doors. Upon investigation, it turned out to be a small, old-fashioned leather shoe. After this incident, Adam decided that he had had enough of investigating the attic space himself. He texted his landlord and told him that he thought there was something, perhaps an animal, living in the attic crawl space. The landlord came over with a ladder and checked, but he found nothing, except for a single green marble. Over the next weeks, Adam Ellis says that he had terrible sleep with more strange dreams. When he awoke each night, he couldn't shake the feeling that something had been in the room, but he had just missed it. So Adam put a camera in his bedroom, set to capture 1 photo per minute, all night long. The next morning, Adam awoke to find that the camera had mostly just captured hundreds of photos of him sleeping quietly in bed. But as he scrolled through the photos, his blood ran cold. There he was, Dear David standing in a chair near the foot of the bed, staring at Adam as he slept. In the next photo, David appears to be staring at the ceiling. Then he collapses onto the chair. In the next few photos, David is gone. Nothing can be seen in the pictures but Adam Ellis sleeping in bed. Then suddenly, Dear David is right beside Adam's bed. Then on the bed, staring at Adam. Then staring directly at the camera. Dear David suddenly disappears again, but there was one last photo on the phone. What looks like the side of a head with a grizzled ear, very near the camera. Adam Ellis tweeted, "I'm at a loss for words. That malformed ear, that stringy hair. I didn't even know what to think." So that's the creepy story of Dear David so far. Is it real? Or is Adam Ellis perpetrating an elaborate hoax? You decide. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, be sure to hit the subscribe button and also hit the little bell icon to turn on notifications so that you receive an alert every time a new video is posted.